All right, so for male reproductive, starting with the testes. All right, so here is a testis. All right, this is one gonad, so it's going to be producing the gametes, which in this case are the sperm. Next would be tunica albuginea, and that is the white outer layer. It's fibrous and protective and provides structure for the testes. Then you have seminiferous tubules, and on this model, they don't cut open the testes, but if I cut this and open it, you have these tubes that go back and forth, and that's where the sperm is actually being produced. You can kind of think about it like the sperm factories in the seminiferous tubules. Then you have the scrotum, and the scrotum is this skin and muscular sac that holds the testes. Then you have the epididymis right here. This is this kind of comma-shaped structure that holds the sperm for kind of short term, and this is where they finish maturing. Then you have the spermatic cord, and that's this whole structure right here. That's going to include the nerves and the blood vessels and the ductus deferens that passes through it. So the ductus deferens is the tube itself. So by the time it gets back here, you can kind of see just the tube, right? And that's the ductus deferens. It used to be called vas deferens, which is why it's called a vasectomy. Right, and that's going to carry the sperm from the epididymis and then into the abdominal cavity, where it'll then join in with the urethra. Where the ductus deferens goes from being outside the body to inside the body, that little section right there, that is the inguinal canal. Right, so it's this opening in the abdominal wall where the ductus deferens enters. Very common site of hernias for males. Then you have the accessory glands. Your first one is the seminal glands or the seminal vesicles, and that's on the posterior side of the urinary bladder. So here's one right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pick this up. All right, so here's one here, all right, and then you can't really see the other one just because of the way that this model is. So you have your seminal vesicle here, produces the vast majority of the fluid that ends up in the semen, including the energy needed to kind of give the sperm energy, so fructose in here. Then you have the prostate gland, so here, and you can see a bit of it right here as well. So here's the prostate, right, more of a kind of slightly acidic fluid, right, and not as much of the volume as the seminal vesicles or seminal glands. Bulbourethral glands should be right here in this urogenital diaphragm, but because of the way that this model is cut, we actually can't see them, right, the bulbourethral glands. Then you have the penis, right, which is this whole thing right here, right, and the part of the penis that you can actually see is the body, right, but a lot of the penis is actually inside the body, and that would be the root, right? But the way that this is cut, again, you can't quite see the root, but it kind of goes all the way back here. Then you have the parts of the penis, and this is going to be the parts that fill up with blood and cause an erection. So you have the corpus cavernosum, right? And that's this part right here, right? The corpus cavernosum. And then you have the corpus spongiosum, and the corpus spongiosum surrounds the urethra. So it's this closer portion here. So the corpus spongiosum keeps the urethra open during erection, because if this was the only part that engorged with blood, it would pinch off the urethra and then the semen couldn't get out, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So you have two different erectile tissues here, corpus cavernosum and corpus spongiosum, which corpus spongiosum surrounds the urethra, which is why they call it the spongy urethra. Right? Then we have glands. Glands is the head of the penis, right? So glands right here. External urethral orifice, right here. And then prepuce we actually don't have on this model, because prepuce is foreskin. So this looks like a circumcised penis, right? So we don't see it on here, but it would be, right, the skin that comes up and kind of covers the glands. And that concludes our